American companies are bracing for even more slowdowns in our supply chain. Maybe it's going to be a blocked chain. As China implements its zero COVID policy, the country's first reported case of Omicron is there, led to 20 million people on lockdown, according to the New York Times. Analysts worry it's only a matter of time before ports and factories are going to be impacted as well. To get an on-the-ground perspective of what's happening in Beijing, we turn now to Patrick Falk. He's following the latest on China's policies and this trans-Pacific ripple effect. Patrick?
Well, you've got to remember that China's home to about a third of global manufacturing, so whatever disruptions you see here are going to have a negative knock-on effect to the rest of the world. And the disruptions that we're seeing right now, brought on by a resurgence of the virus, and in particular China's first outbreaks of the Omicron variant, are coming at a time when manufacturers were really hoping things might loosen up after the disruptions that they've already experienced over the last couple of years. So that's really adding to pressures caused by the cost of raw materials and shipping, delays in delivery times, as well as a shortage of workers. And, you know, this is really being highlighted in particular by targeted lockdowns in key port cities like Tianjin and Shenzhen and Shanghai and Dalian. So far, authorities avoided full-scale lockdowns in these cities because of the outbreaks that they've had. But the targeted lockdowns are already having a negative effect. Companies like Volkswagen and Toyota have already announced that they've suspended operations in Tianjin because of them. Now, analysts say that further disruptions are going to be inevitable, with China insisting on sticking to its zero COVID approach, and because of the high transmissibility of the Omicron variant. The focus right now for China is to keep things stable ahead of the Winter Olympic Games. But, you know, these disruptions are likely to last throughout the course of this year, particularly with the government trying to focus on stability ahead of the Leadership Congress in the second half of the year, when President Xi Jinping is expected to break with presidents and seek a third term as leader.
For a deeper look tonight at how China's COVID lockdown policy will impact the supply chain and other ongoing issues, I'm joined by supply chain expert James Crean. James, the rest of the world is just kind of easing into, getting used to this idea. COVID is going to be a part of our life. We will all be exposed. We will all fight it, maybe annually. China's still saying no, zero COVID. How will that affect us?
Well, you're going to see outages as a result of that. They shut down, you know, you've seen it in the past, right? The zero COVID policy has resulted in shutting down ports. They'll shut down factories. They'll shut down segments of a city. But they actually just, in December, shut down Xi'an, which is a city of 13 million people. They shut the entire city down in order to contain any spread. So, and that's a manufacturing city there. So this policy will lead to issues, and more than likely in the future they will probably have to make adjustments.
Well, because did China actually believe this? Do they think they're really going to be the only place on Earth exempt from the endemic COVID virus?
They're really focused right now, I think, on the Olympics, to be honest. And I think they want to make sure that they contain any kind of outbreak prior to the Olympics. After the Olympics, you may see that they start changing their policies in order to do that. You know, like much of the rest of the world, we're starting to realize we may just end up having to live with COVID for an extended period of time.
I see. If we're seeing shutdowns or slowdowns, will countries eventually respond by filling that gap? Can other countries out there that have manufacturing ability, can they beef up enough? Because I'm thinking computer chips are a bit harder to make than T-shirts, you know.
True. So what we're seeing is that Samsung is building a plant in Austin, Texas, to build chips. Micron, which makes memory chips for your cell phone and your computer, is looking to build a new fab here in the United States. Intel is building new fabs, you know, manufacturing facilities for chips in Arizona. So there's a lot of activity in that area, but it does take years, a couple of years, and, you know, $10+ billion and even more in some cases to build out those facilities.
In the meantime, because it takes some time for those to get up and running, I guess we should get ready for our Amazon delivery date to be pushed out a week or two longer than we'd like.
So the interesting thing is Amazon has been investing in logistics for a very long time. They are actually one of the outliers. So they're not as affected by all the ships that are sitting off the Los Angeles coast waiting to be offloaded because they have their own logistics network. They actually have ships, they have containers, they have a whole slew of their whole operation has been thought through. They actually will, and sometimes even fly product in if necessary in order to make deliveries. So I think Amazon is a step ahead from a logistics perspective.
James Crean, I was expecting a ton of bad news. That was not the case. I love it. Helping us break down this complex topic. Thank you.
You bet. Great talking with you, Chance.